1, 2, 3. Hey everybody, welcome to the Youth Ministry Garage, episode 216. Doug Fields here with Josh Griffin, co-host, the Queen, Katie Edwards, and sitting in for Matt McGill.
Once again,
because it was such a big deal. Executive producer Seth Bartlett. His second time to the show. No, Matt's missed 2 out of the last 3. Yeah. So we're going to have to talk to our primary sponsor, U Specialties, about booting him.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. We could do a contest. Sorry, I know you're right here.
This is awkward.
Filling the seat permanently.
Well, you know, Jake is in town from Seattle. For those of you that are really long-term team members.
Long-timers.
Jake was a fill-in.
Yep.
He's now up in Seattle. He was here in the backyard with his kids in the pool.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I said, hey, why don't you come be on the show? Because McGill's not going to be here.
He was like, no.
He had to go. Actually, we moved this podcast earlier
Specifically for
so Matt could be here to get to the party that is happening for Jake tonight. And then Matt bailed. What was it, some elder meeting or something?
Yeah, something stupid.
Yeah.
Church
Something
meeting.
far less important than this.
He's such a grown-up now.
He
so
is.
he's like...
Yes.
You tell him the way he dresses too.
He's
Yeah.
You
acting
guys seen
like
that?
a grown-up,
He's wearing
shunning
polos
the youth
instead of
ministry world.
t-shirts.
I don't know.
He's
Sad,
fancy.
sad.
He
day.
shot me an email of some, crazy dad who is checking out the children's and the youth and writes this terrible letter to the children's ministry about how they need to use the Bible more, and kids weren't even reading out of their Bible, and I didn't even want to go into the high school room because I saw a girl sitting on a boy's lap, and it was just this,
Picked everything apart.
basically narking on the children's guy. So he sends it to the senior pastor and Matt, who's the executive pastor, and says, I demand you respond. And McGill writes back, I think you should consider going to another church. It doesn't sound like you're ever going to be happy. If you would like to come in and talk about your heart. And I mean, it was total McGill,
And sent it? And legitimately sent it?
Oh, send it back to the guy.
Oh,
And then the guy writes back, do I have to go above you guys to the district headquarters? I mean, it was just like...
Who's the district
I don't know. Do they have a thing?
What's that?
We'll have to have McGill talk about it, but
That's
it was
fantastic.
just,
That's a great response.
You know, one of the,
It
he
is.
sent it, and he said, didn't he send it to you too?
No.
And he said, read this for comedy.
No,
so
I didn't
anyway,
get it. I'm
I
not
read-
in on that inner circle or to be at Jake's party as an aside. Not going to be at that either, apparently. Are you going?
I am good.
Hate it. Hate everybody. This is going to be a rough show.
Want to go to the movies again?
Exactly. Let's go
Oh, no,
hang
you're
out.
going to be at the party, aren't you?
Oh, no!
Tell him.
I'm gonna, this money chain table.
Didn't you just meet Jake on Saturday night?
Dude, we had so much fun.
Man.
I'm
I haven't
surprised.
even
Why are you
seen
not going to
Jake.
that?
You didn't see Jay?
I
was there.
Whatever.
Huh.
Well, I heard that our old small group was in... That's who was coming.
Oh, cool.
So
that's great.
That makes it-
maybe...
That's better.
Yeah, I mean, apparently I was invisible in that small group, too. So.
Were you in that small group? Oh.
We were only in it for 2 months and then it disbanded. So we're like,
But you got the invite to the
That's
party.
okay. I
We
just
did.
spent a ton of time
We
with
did.
Jake. We did a conference together, had so much fun.
Yeah.
We're good.
Oh.
My Jake bucket is full. I just love that
I
dude.
haven't
Yeah,
even
he's
seen
great.
And
him.
Aaron, they're such good people. Anyhow,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm excited.
So McGill's not here.
Yeah. So anyway, everybody doing good? You just were at a junior high conference. For those maybe that are new to our show, Katie is the queen of junior high. Josh is the king of high school.
Queen of
Seth
high school.
I was gonna
is
say,
the executive producer of the show, and I'm a wash-up.
No, you're a has-been. Don't be
Has-been.
so hard on yourself.
Has-been.
Wash up.
No, you're the
No.
legacy voice of youth ministry for eternity. You're fine.
I get the eternity. Wow,
Yeah,
that's good.
I was trying to make up for legacy. It feels
Kind of a long
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Eternity.
So you were just at a
It wasn't a conference. It was really just kind of like a gathering of middle school pastors, and it was really fun. It was 2 days, and we just did a lot of just talk and shop, which honestly was so fun. Just throwing up different topics of things that are kind of relevant, things that we're struggling through, things that might be new on the horizon that the conversation is just opening up about. So it was really cool. Just fun to kind of hear what's happening in other ministries around the country, and fun to have like-minded things that we're struggling with, and then things that are just completely
that's great.
different.
And who? Forest Home, a local camp in our area.
Forest Home, a local
hosted?
camp, hosted it, which was awesome.
So it wasn't hosted by our primary sponsors, Youth
it
Specialties.
wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Because last time we talked about Josh went to the unconference.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they just did 13 free
Yeah.
unconferences.
Which a couple of the guys that were there were actually at the and conference
yeah,
with you.
yeah.
So that was a fun connection for us because
That's
they had
cool.
met you and loved you. And
Awesome. Good people. We had a lot of good discussions. It was a lot of fun. Have had some great follow-ups since then in the month that or whatever that it's been.
Yeah.
It's been really cool. Yeah.
That's good.
because that was like a bunch of people, right? That was like 100
Yeah, 100
workers from
plus.
like all over the region.
Yep. High school, junior high, a couple of older dudes. I'm not sure what they did.
Yeah.
They scared me too much. I called them legacy guys. So
I actually just talked to Matlock today about, because the last one happens tomorrow.
right now. Yeah.
And how he's done 13. He said, I wouldn't want to do one less, and I wouldn't want to do one more.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot, but that's
That is
where
a
he's in his
lot.
sweet
It's a
spot.
lot.
So anyway, we didn't do that, but thank you to you Specialties for being our
Yes.
primary sponsors.
Love
and
YS.
also we have incredible sponsors: Youth Ministry 360, Azusa Pacific
Mm-hmm.
University, Little Trex, and Remedy Live.
Excellent,
We
yeah.
have some of their stuff to give away a little later in the show.
Yeah, we use their resources and stuff and whatever in our ministries all the time. We love it. Good. Point people that way. Like this, using it soon. Whatever.
We've got a question from Lyle Parker from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Lyle is getting his PhD in leadership at Johnson University in January.
Welcome to the table.
Who doesn't have that? That's, I mean, just a PhD.
Welcome, Lyle.
Yeah.
It's about time some of our peers write in. Katie, speaking of PhD, Katie.
No, don't say
almost
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
Getting-
throw it in there.
Getting close to joining the master's program at APU.
Yeah.
Josh,
I
if
can
Josh
only
would ever
hope.
fill out his paperwork.
I've been meaning
I think
to.
he's afraid of his grades from undergraduates.
For sure.
I
sure.
can get you in.
I'm afraid of rejection. Is that I just have a little
can,
fear.
I can get you in.
College is a tough
All right.
place. A lot
It
of
is.
rejection happening.
Any youth worker that wants into the master's program that has a BA,
Yeah.
they can get in.
They can get
if they
in.
don't have a BA, it's a little more work.
So if you have a BA, you need to make sure that you are a
Reference-
listener of the show. Drop
Reference
the name of the show, Doug Fields, you're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope that's true, what I just said. Anyway,
You have your work cut out for me when you see
Lyle writes a good question. Here's what I'm going to do to Lyle, is we're going to move Lyle to the web.
Oh, great.
We need
Oh,
a couple
wow.
questions that are going to move to the web.
a little teaser at least.
I was
yeah.
expecting something.
He basically
Next level.
he wants to talk about his dissertation, and he's looking for what would be good. What are youth workers looking for that a guy like Lyle could research and write a dissertation on? And I thought
yeah.
there's
Great.
a bunch of people out there a lot smarter than us that are going, hey,
Just don't do the easy one, which is why high school students are leaving the church and leaving the faith. I feel like that has been written and done to death. There isn't a whole lot more that can be said. Be more creative than that. Unless you have something new to say, that'd be awesome.
yeah,
But that one I feel like is too easy. It's low hanging fruit. Challenge yourself a little bit.
yeah, but still people are still struggling with
No, I
kids
get
leaving
it.
the church.
We were actually just came from a meeting not too long before this, just trying to solve some of those things. But man, I feel like try something else, please.
Jason Steffen. So
Question.
I'm gonna give that to you.
For the web.
Actually, I'll
Do you have a follow up right now? Get in on it.
Yeah.
Just wonder, like, do people write about how many adults are leaving the church? Like, in all honesty, I just, we
Yes.
focus a ton on teenagers, but I'm just curious, like, what about grown-ups leaving the church or adults leaving the church, and what prompts that, or what are
Have you
people
been to
doing?
church? Have you been to most churches?
Well,
leave
I
the
know.
church too.
I don't know. It's just we focus so much on that. I'm just curious to know,
Yeah.
like, the other side of that is maybe there's, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
No, I think denominations are finding many of them in decline over the last several years, and it's not just youth ministry type stuff. It's
Absolutely.
Jason Steffen from Enid, Oklahoma. Hey team, appreciate all you do. Been watching this podcast from the beginning and have enjoyed each episode.
Is that Oklahoma?
Where
That's
was
my
that?
Oklahoma.
Okay, all right.
Cool. You're
I know-
welcome,
yeah,
audience.
spot on, right?
I saw that on episode 213, Mark Matlock was giving away material.
Uh-oh.
I would like to have some if you have any more.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for bringing a smile on my face on Mondays.
All right.
Oh, you're
Let's do it.
welcome.
What
Let's
can we
give
give?
him.
We're gonna send him the material that Matlock talked about.
That's great.
Which
Really?
is called Why Not Now.
All you have to do is just write in, man,
That
I sure
seemed
wish I
easy.
could have had that. And you get it?
That's the kind of guys we are.
Wow. You're welcome.
And gals.
Lyle.
Guys and gals.
It's fine.
We're also we've been talking about a live show, Katie.
This girl's got to stick together.
We've been talking about a live show where people that watch ahead of time, we have a bunch of freebies and we give them to the people that watch the live
On
show.
the live show, yeah.
My husband is gonna rack up some points. He loves the live show.
What's funny though, there's always something funny that's said right before we do the hey.
Yes,
Usually
always.
inappropriate.
And it's
if McGill is
usually
here.
not appropriate if, yes, today was wonderful and beautiful because McGill's gone.
Yeah, and
but-
when Matt's not here, I'm telling you, I have more fun.
No,
I do. I totally do.
That's not true.
It is totally true. I am 100%.
this much.
No.
like-
Let me look. If my family was watching, here's the word we use ever since they were a little kid.
Yeah.
To know that somebody's not joking. If you say "I promise," that means
Oh, it's real.
that is like breaks all. I promise.
Oh, boy.
I have more fun when Matt's not here. Now, doesn't mean it's
Doesn't
a
mean the
better.
show's better.
No,
Right.
it doesn't mean it's a better show.
It's probably
It just
not.
is like
Yeah.
it is like trying to grab a snake with Matt.
With oven mitts on, I get it.
Yeah.
Who hasn't done that?
Yeah.
Spot on.
These Oklahoma paraphrases are great.
Yeah, Lyle's like, man, know the feeling.
You got that, Rob.
Maybe you should have been an
Thank you.
actor. Now we're making fun of him. Oh wow. Now we choose.
Anyway, no, I think the show's great when Matt's on the show. I just personally have more fun when he's not
Yeah.
here because I feel like, that
I
was.
miss him. I like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is
Yeah.
very.
And
Wow,
this
this hurts.
bit.
Yeah.
No, hey, let's be
They missed
honest.
it.
Let's be
Top
honest.
shot.
Matt won't watch this far into the show, but let's be honest. Matt's the star of the show.
He's definitely
he will
the
never hear these
star.
words.
He's the soundbite. He's like
is
he's the
the star.
the car wreck. He's the you got to stop and listen to it. And,
He's the fall off the
You
treadmill
can't
and want
wait
to
to
die.
hear
Yeah.
what's gonna come out of his mouth.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy who says maybe you should look for another church.
And, yeah, and
what
half
we've always
the time,
wanted to say, and he
half
just says
the time he's a total idiot, and half the time he's a total genius.
Right, brilliant.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Those percentages might be a little off, but I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
tracking.
Maybe not 50, generous.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who's on? You know who's spot on today?
Seth Bartlett,
Spot on,
executive
Bartlett.
Practicing in the
producer.
car.
Yeah. Well, we had to give him a couple weeks probation after his last time.
Yeah, exactly.
pretty rough.
Yeah, we're not coming back.
Allison Williams from
Oklahoma loves
Seymour, Indiana.
Hey, I know right where that's at.
Yeah, I've been
You're
there.
stomping
Right
grounds.
by Fort Wayne.
I've been
Do
there.
you know where Reddington Christian Church is?
I don't.
Okay.
Oh, it's right at Reddington.
Says, hey team, Matt, sorry you got canned. Now that Matlock is giving away a bunch of Why Not Now curriculum, maybe he's the new future of the church.
Whoa, yeah.
My church just started Zondervan's The Story campaign
Oh, yeah.
for 31 weeks. It's great stuff, but it's very different than what my students are used to weekly. What are some ways you have all personalized total church campaigns in your flow of ministries?
I think that's new. I don't think we've ever asked that before.
Campaigns, yeah.
That's really good. Well, I'll start. We do a church campaign every single year, actually. In our church, that's a tradition. That's what
And
we
it
do.
is the one thing I miss most.
And I'm sure it is.
Working in the church.
I would say we have a lot of freedom within the campaign.
It's usually about 8 weeks.
It's about 8 weeks. We immediately...
Usually about 3 weeks too long for you,
Exactly.
if not 4.
We trim it down.
We only do 5.
Immediately. We try to do 5-ish weeks
Yeah.
out of the 8.
Yeah.
So we'll skip the first one or end it early or something. Try to make it work. And I would just say we go for the spirit of the campaign, not the letter of the law. So if they hand us a workbook, I am going to spend a ton of time gutting, rewriting, changing, usually changing the translations of the verses, definitely changing all the big church words out. If there's a message that I'm going to deliver, I'm adapting it severely to where you get the spirit of it, but it's probably not recognizable. So
Most of the time we get like the topics.
Yeah.
In the years past, we've gotten the topics and written some of our own stuff, and not
Yep.
necessarily
Yep.
done exactly what the church is doing. But
Yep. The other one that he's talking about, it's like the crown of thorns, and it's got some pretty big church-ish imagery associated with it. So I call it euthanizing. And I kind of kill off the old way and make it good for you. I know.
the title of the
I didn't
show.
say it's a good idea or a good name. I just try to euthanize the curriculum to where it's student friendly, it looks better, and honestly, I
and
want
we
them.
partner, which is fun. So
Yeah.
it's like a fun time because it's something that the whole church has to do. So it's a great time for us as junior high and high school.
Completely aligned,
Share
yeah.
resources and graphics and all that kind of fun stuff. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But 31 weeks, that's a long.
That's not a campaign. That is
That's
insane.
Yeah,
That's a long
That's
It's your
time.
half your year.
That is all your small group curriculum for the year, basically.
Yeah, maybe you could do it in small groups.
Well, there's some benefit to this.
Yeah.
You know, especially as a dad speaking, that my kids get in the car and we've all been learning and talking about the same thing or the same text, or gives us drive time conversations, table talk at night. I mean, I like the idea of churches doing something, but you know, my experience, like yours at Saddleback for so many years, was you would get the campaign, you know, typically you get on a Thursday or a week ahead of time. We already had our whole fall planned out, and you get it and you're like, oh gosh, I was hoping you were going to forget this year. Then you got to get rid of your series that you were going to do,
right?
Change graphics,
got it all,
name, you know, whole bit.
Yeah.
So that's our
I
experience.
do like the alignment though too, even with littler kids, and you know, we've been given some really cool tools as part. You know, I'm like, oh, I learned this message in our adult services. I taught this message in youth group, and my kids got the same thing. You know, I've got some discussion cards, and I get it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that at 31 weeks I'd still be into it, but
Yeah, I'm
maybe.
definitely fine with a time
Yeah.
once a year.
A month
but 31
or two.
weeks that's a long time.
But you know
Maybe
what?
break it up into like 5.
Yeah. And I would say in his case, he's got students that are pretty familiar with a certain style, and I would try to adapt it to that style, because adapting them to a new style could be more pain than it's worth, especially if you're going to exit in 31 anyhow.
Woo.
Seth, when you were youth pastor in Indiana,
Seymour.
okay?
That's
Indiana?
actually where you're from?
No. But it's kind of in a 2-hour drive from
In the
here.
Metroplex?
We did campaigns. Like we had one time we did this one you've never heard of. It's called 40 Days of Purpose. And so when we got it, it was kind of thing where as a smaller staff we gathered, and so we all had a little bit of say in what it looked like, and kind of. And so as every year we did it for a few years, where there was a church-wide campaign. It was like a Ortberg study or something that we just chose to just be as a church. Here's the thing we learned is. We would go into it with our plan, and just like you guys were saying, the length of it would sometimes be tricky, or we'd find that certain things weren't working. Like we wanted to be really aligned with what senior pastor is doing on Sunday morning, because we wanted families having the conversations, and then we just found that some of not all of our audience was going to both. They weren't getting it from all sides of the church campaign because they're visitors, and it's like, well, we got to do something. They can't feel left out. So I would just say, in fact, I wrote it down, be flexible and refine as you go. You know, there might be certain things that you're finding work really well in the church-wide thing, but for your youth and the way that they're learning that campaign, I would just say refine it.
That's great.
Wow.
Well, if you would like an
Seth.
excellent answer that Allison just got, you can send in your questions through the youthministrygarage.com, right?
That was great.
I think in 218 episodes,
16.
we've never had that. I think that's a new question.
Is that
completely fresh, brand new.
Like, do you think a good number of churches do that kind of thing, where they align everybody? Like, do you think that happens? Like, do you hear that a lot traveling around that happens?
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if I wouldn't bet that everybody does, but I think
Sure.
it's for a certain series. I mean, sometimes it's
season.
even Lent season. You're like, okay, we're gonna line some. Have church-wide calendars where they go, this is what we're talking about. Yeah.
Well, there was one on parenting. It was a couple years ago now, and everyone dropped
3
everything.
weeks.
It wasn't really a campaign. It was just like, we're talking about parenting. Let's talk about parenting all the way through.
Families,
Family, whatever.
parents, yeah.
It was
It was cool.
really cool. And we did that series together. It was fun.
Yes, we did. And what's it called now?
How to Raise Your Parents, and it's on downloadyouthministry.com if you want to get it. It's like, whatever, $9 probably.
That's great.
For 3 weeks? You
3
mean it's
weeks.
that cheap? It's only $3 a week?
It's only $3 a week, Bob. It's just some legacy pricing. Wait a minute.
All right, Chris Hausler. Sorry, Chris. Hausler from Delroy, Ohio. Matt, sorry you got the boot. I have a suggestion concerning the podcast. Would it be possible for a mass email notification to be sent out when a new episode is uploaded to your site? Thanks for all you do. The wisdom and encouragement is most certainly beneficial. That's
great.
Chris, what a time to ask, because on the show is the executive producer, Seth Bartlett. Seth, what do you think about that? Because here, let me just...
Give him some things.
Chris, let me just tell you, let me look in the camera and say, I promise, that I've had this conversation with Seth within the last week. I said, Seth, I need to know when the new shows go up, because I want to tweet, "Hey, the new show is up." And Seth, he works at all hours of the day. He's like a sloth. He sleeps in the middle of the afternoon and then works about.
We call McGill that.
Those are
Is
weird.
that the same?
No, he works about 4. He sleeps about 4 hours and he works about 20.
I thought you said slob. I was like, oh, that's McGill's title, kind of.
Sloth just sounds.
Sloths sleep at weird
lazy.
hours.
Yeah.
They are for 4 hours.
Okay.
But so he could upload a new show at 3 in the morning,
Yeah.
and then he says to himself, "Awesome, check. I got one more thing done."
Yeah.
And then like 4 or 5 days later, I discover that it was up there. People asking me questions about it, and I think, oh, it would have been nice to know it was up.
Little insight there.
Yeah.
I think this is a great suggestion. I think it's easy to do and something we can probably pull off here in the next 2 months.
Yeah, because
Well,
So positive.
In the meantime, follow. Don't we have Youth Ministry YM Garage on Twitter?
Yep.
Which does get every
They always
show
get
on
the
it.
updates. So if
And
you're on
follow
social
Doug.
media,
I wonder if
at
I'm supposed to
Doug
preach this weekend.
Holy smokes, that's awesome! You're getting the call.
the call.
That's a pretty big call.
But I think this is a great suggestion. Great suggestion should be rewarded with great prizes. So I think we should give them something.
Wow.
I
There
make
you
great
go.
suggestions all the time. I haven't gotten a dang thing.
You
Why
took
not
one
now?
of these Beyond the Trip books from Leader Treks last week.
Leader Treks sent them to me
let's pause for
personally.
just a second.
I didn't take them from
Oh.
here.
Do we ever send anything out to our Youth Ministry Garage email list?
No, but we can.
Seth, why don't you send
But
them an
we-
email
So
notification?
we've been capturing people's emails for
Hundreds
a
of
couple
years.
years now.
Yep, because we wanted to do it in a respectful manner and not just hit them up all the time.
Oh,
But I
okay.
feel like the timing's right because
Thank you for that, sir.
Ohio is ready for it.
Yeah.
If Ohio
but we
says
do-
let us know, then we need to let them know.
Facebook and Twitter light up
They're
every
the
time
swing
something
state, aren't
happens.
they?
Are. They're the
Facebook
swing
and Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in Ohio, we call it email. So let's get on that.
Okay, what are we giving this person free, Josh?
We're giving
Tell us
them
about it.
Beyond the Trip from Leader Treks. It's a 4-week follow-up journal. When you go on a mission trip and you come home and everyone's like, how do I continue to process what I've learned and take it with me? You give them this book, Beyond the Trip.
You should
As well as...
these all go together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at that. We're going to give all that away?
That's an $89
It's
value.
a missions pack for your students.
There you go. We're going to start using it too, and I'm excited about it. This orange book in
Yeah.
particular, I'm most excited about.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited about this stuff. It's all new and it's very cool.
So you get
I
it
read
courtesy
through it
of
all.
sponsor Leader Treks. Congratulations. There you go.
Congratulations.
Amen. All right.
Let me
this is
look you in the eye. I promise that you're going to get that in the mail. There you go.
Don't violate that because you can't promise anything.
Guys, I promise I'm not going to do that.
Here's what happens to Josh.
You can't promise when Josh giggles after.
Josh shows up 20 minutes late and leaves immediately after Katie. Katie, like the show's not even done and she's out of
Yeah.
the garage,
Soon as the red light
usually
turns
flipping
off.
us off.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. She's like, I'm out of here.
And then Josh
I
is
gotta
like
go cook dinner.
grabbing ding dongs or something and then out the door.
Yeah.
You were
that's
only
it.
slightly delayed today.
Slightly delayed.
Yeah,
And in
that
all
was his line.
fairness-
I want to apologize for being slightly delayed, he says. He wasn't late. Wasn't late.
Did you notice who was here before our friend Katie Edwards? I was.
We were
okay.
together.
Nope. 4 minutes ahead of you.
Yeah,
As I ran a light.
He was
here.
He was ahead of you.
It was.
Yeah.
It's true.
And then you were on the phone
came
when you came
last.
in. Come
All
on.
right, Adam
Schlichter.
Schweitz.
Schweitz from Tigard, Oregon. Adam. One of my youth parents asked me, what is a good gift to give a preteen and a teen who've just lost a parent? I don't know the family that she's talking about, but what ideas can I give her?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I thought it was
I
a
think
move
that
to
could
the
be a
web
good one
question.
to the web. I can't think of anything off the top of my head
Yeah.
right this second.
I would say your time and your presence, and I don't know of a book.
1 Minute Bible by Doug Fields.
Yeah, I mean, it's an impossibly difficult situation for them to weather, and I would say
What's our leadership book that you and I wrote together? What's it called? Youth Leader Training on the Go.
Well, I think it's volunteer training on the go.
Oh, volunteer training. There we go. I was trying to be
Close.
funny and I couldn't even think of the name.
I would say, man, show
Preteen
up,
and teen.
love
Yeah.
them, and hopefully the web will come up with a good resource to put in their hands.
Yeah. But I think you could also do, yeah. I mean,
My only suggestion would be if you're going to give a gift like that, do it in person or whoever's in relationship with that student. Like, have them.
how's that die
Just
going?
sit back up there. There we go. I'm back. Welcome back. I slept this.
I think your sound effect was funnier than what you
Wait,
said.
hold on.
Oh, man.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep
Just
going.
stay low. Stay
All
low
right,
at
stay
the
low.
table.
Okay.
Yeah, take a position of humility for once.
You know, if you spot it, you got it. That's right.
All right, Nick DeMonte from Reno, Nevada.
Really quick, one more thing. Personalize the resource. If you're going to hand them something, write them a note. Those words could be more powerful than the words inside at some point.
As opposed to dear friend.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to just handing them a book
Dear
and feeling
team,
like I did a good
don't do
job.
that.
Yeah.
But they'll flip through it and they'll be like, oh, they wrote me a note years later potentially, and it will be very meaningful.
And maybe wait, just do something initially. But I always, whenever I have a student who's grieving or has lost someone, I always put on my calendar like 2 months later, kind of when everything dies down, with just everybody's at your house initially and that kind of thing, but just to check in kind of a couple months later when things get quiet.
It's good. We've talked about that before in terms of the actual date of death. Then any holiday is always big to check in.
Or transition times,
Even like I just prayed with one of our volunteers yesterday who was diagnosed with throat cancer, and so we laid hands on him and prayed with him as kind of a group of people, and it ended at 3:27 yesterday afternoon. And I said, Kenny, we're going to pray for you every day for a couple weeks at 3:27. I said, I'm going to send a little calendar invite that's going to buzz everybody's phone, and we're all going to pause. So I said, 3:27 is your time when we're lifting you up before God. So even if there's something like that you can say, dude, I can't even begin to understand losing a dad or whatever, but let me tell you, what time is it right now? 8:13,
12.
whatever it is, it's your time, and we're going to pray for you faithfully and journey this with you, and just little practical ways for them to know. And he actually Facebooked about it this morning and said 3:27 is my time. Thanks for praying for me. And I
cool.
thought
That's so
really
cool.
And my phone buzzed a few minutes ago, and I was like, I'm praying for him.
Yeah.
So
Sweet. That's cool. That's a great idea.
Well, and letting them know that you're doing that as well, even if you're doing it on your own.
Totally.
I have my reminder set to pray for Sandy when I drive at home, and there's actually 2 Sandys. Doug Grant's wife, Sandy. Are you familiar with what's happening there? And then a guy from the gym, his wife was trying to get pregnant. And so there's 2 Sandys. I got to double dip with Sandy.
That's cool.
But let them both know. Just do a screenshot of that and send it to them. Say, I just want to let you know that when I pull it home, I pray for you.
So when your GPS triggers at your home, it brings up that reminder.
Yeah.
That's strong.
That's pretty amazing.
I love teaching you tech stuff.
That's why I'm partially freaking out, because I just thought that is a strong
That is
application of existing
amazing.
technology that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Crap, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so I don't have to just rely on 327. It could be several times a day.
Every time you pull into your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Next time, buddy.
I'm gonna sit a little. If this chair could go lower.
Let me see if I can get a little higher. Nick DeMonte, Reno, Nevada. Matt, sorry you got fired. Now update your bio on the website.
Oh, it's true. I saw it. It's
done now. It's
Okay,
been
okay.
updated.
Seth was great in episode 214.
Oh.
What? Are you ad-libbing, or is that really on there?
No, that's on
really
there.
on there?
You got friends in Nevada, dude.
Bring him in full time.
Whoa!
Time out.
Power play.
Time out.
I didn't
At the
know.
rate Matt's going,
Yeah,
that could
I
actually
know.
happen.
I know.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that.
Well, it doesn't actually say who he wants you to replace. It could be me.
Oh, shoot. No.
Nah, it's
It's
either matter.
No, let's be honest. Oh, get this thing lower. How do I? I'm gonna be laying
sit
in
on
a
the
prayer
floor?
posture by the end of this thing.
3, there's a network here in Reno, Nevada where we meet every month with youth guys from up to an hour and away. Come visit us. We want to do that.
Road trip. Road
We
trip.
want to do that.
Let's go.
That's easy.
I know.
Yeah.
No questions today. Just wanted to thank you for the support. Just finished my first 2 years in youth ministry. Not the book, finished that a long time ago, but actually my first 2 years in the job.
Oh.
Thanks for keeping me
Cool.
laughing every week.
You made it. 2
Nick,
years.
that is
That's
incredible.
a big milestone.
It is.
It is. And why don't we give Nick, Seth, since he affirmed you,
Yeah.
why don't you give him new from Youth Ministry 360 and tell us about it?
Well, this is a great new product.
It's not new. It's been out for about a year.
It's called new.
It's called
There you go. I got you.
Yeah. I was describing the product, but our good friends at YM360 are trying to help you prepare for this summer. So many of you are taking teens on all sorts of trips, camps, mission trips, something like that, and you might find that teens are accepting Christ for the very first time. So this is a great resource to hand them afterwards, and we're going to give this away to Nick.
A couple of them?
I think we can give another one away. They wanted to really make sure people get this in their hands. So.
Great.
Is there
That's
like
awesome.
a 5-pack or something? Because that's better for you.
It feels like this is a second print run because this is a different color.
Oh, is it?
I think so because I think it was either yellow or orange before. Has it always been lime
I think
green?
it looks the same to me.
Okay, I'd like to hear from either Andy Blanks
I think
or
it's the same. I
Les.
think it was green. But I think you should send him a 5-pack.
Send him a 5-pack. Let's do
Okay.
that, Les.
Break
Okay.
the budget.
Yeah.
Done. All right.
Great.
Thanks, Nick.
This
Hope
is
you enjoy
really
these.
good.
No, it is
If
cool.
he has, hopefully 5 kids come to Christ at his next retreat, that'd be
Right.
so fun.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Like after summer camp, all those students make decisions, many for the first time. It's a brilliant
It's a
little.
neat time.
Yeah.
This is a really good product.
It really
Write a
is.
note. Write a note in the front of it. Make it personal, and
Yeah.
then
Tennis,
set a reminder.
tennis shoes on page 64 seem a little outdated, but other than that, the
Legacy.
layout.
We call them legacy.
Legacy time.
But you know what? It looks outdated, but that means with me, they're probably really cool. and in
Super
right
cutting
now.
edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Everything that was
that's right.
cool when you were in high school
It's coming
is
back.
cool. It's vintage.
It's true.
Yeah.
Ray Bans, for example.
Anyway, good product.
No, we found some old
I wish I had
Wildside.
written that.
Our junior high ministry logo is called Wildside. We found logos this week from like 1991
Established 1993.
and August 93. It's like really early, and they're really cool.
They're awesome.
We were like, that would totally work today.
Yeah, there's some
Funny.
greats.
Funny how that works.
We're
Hey.
20 years.
Michael Henry is a double rewinder. He's one of the
Whoa.
guys that
Oh,
is-
I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
such a cool guy.
Any double rewind.
He's
we
from
love.
Crescent, Pennsylvania. Hey guys and gal, first I want to extend an even deeper heartfelt appreciation for Katie's junior high expertise as I'm currently working my way through help. I'm a student leader with my newly formed junior leadership team, 8th and 9th grade.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
They continually impress and amaze me each week, and I have a great understanding now of how things of which they are capable in no small part because of the genuine respect for junior hires that you exude every time you speak about them, Katie.
That's sweet.
Second, I have to admit I'm a little disappointed in not receiving my motivational t-shirt even after figuring in upload time. I also realize, however, that I may have been a little selfish in my request. After squealing with joy when I saw Josh was coming to the Student Leadership Conference in 2013
Squealing.
in Pennsylvania, insert plug here, go.
SLC 2013, it's not too late to get some very good rates for an awesome student leadership experience this summer. We'd love to see you there.
Texas, California, Pennsylvania.
It's going to be great.
Be there.
You and I are in all of them?
I'm not in Texas because of all of Jaden's graduation.
Oh.
Kindergarten.
Oh, good.
I know. I really want
2 of the 3.
2 of the 3.
Yeah, the Skit guys are in Texas, though.
They are, and not at the other ones?
Oh, well.
Too bad. Well, we'll kind of balance each other out. That's
Okay, well, here's what he says. I've decided to put my motivation where my money is, and my money where Josh's mouth is, so to speak.
right. What?
Take it.
Josh, here's my challenge.
Check
Here's
cash
my
in my
challenge
order.
to you.
Okay.
Beat me in a live weigh-in on stage at SLC, and I will personally, not my church, buy all your meals from dinner during that week. No limits on order. In addition, for every percentage of weight loss you lose more than me, I will give you a $10 gift card of your choice. If I win, it's enough for me that I'll get to pick your brain a little. It's a win-win wager.
Aw,
You
that's
in?
cute.
It's a done deal.
I've included some of the details at the end. I'll give this to you. Matt, even though you aren't coming to Student Leadership Conference, Matt is coming.
He's coming.
I didn't want to leave you out. I think I even figured out how to motivate you. For every 10 pounds you lose, I will solicit another recommendation letter for your next job. Sorry you got canned.
Strong.
That is a funny bit.
Strong.
Thanks, guys. Doug, see you at Student Leadership. Keep God at the front, and He'll clear the way. Mike Henry.
In his grip.
Challenge accepted?
Love it. Challenge accepted. Just to make it easy, I weighed in today at 300.0 this morning. Straight, flat across the board. So
300.
We need to verify
Point.
his.
and his
0.
today would be different. He'll always say like a week head start or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Well, he says, as of 4:15,
Oh, so yesterday.
I was
Wow, this is a fresh
220.
question.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, day before you.
Here's what I do. Just print them out.
Print 'em out.
Print them out and bring them down.
Filing system.
Works well.
Okay, he's at 215.
220.
Yeah.
Yeah, your meals. plan.
220.
Yeah.
That's like your left leg, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what calf. That guy's got nothing on me.
Okay. How do you know?
Every day.
This is from Mike McGarry, Norfolk, Massachusetts.
Virgin. Okay.
How do you know when you're pursuing opportunities that could bring you recognition out of the motive to build others up according to the gifts and strengths God has given you, or if you're pursuing them to puff up your
Yep.
pride.
Someone's been puffing up.
Yeah, I was going to say 320, 27. I've been hesitant. That's total insider pod humor. Thank you.
420?
Is it 420?
Yeah, it is.
Legacy.
240. I knew. Let's just say I knew there was a time.
There is a time.
There
It's
is a
reference to SLC. Here we go.
I've been hesitant about such opportunities because I know my heart, but I also want to be a good steward of what God has given me. Does pride ever go away as a temptation? So how do you fight that as you get more recognition and weigh the opportunities before you?
That's a great question.
Okay. Who wants first crack at it?
Well, Seth has a lot of experience in this area.
Yeah, let's talk about my number one temptation, which is pride. No, I think pride's something that a lot of leaders deal with, if not all, and probably all on some level, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's been helpful for someone like me, a young leader, and I hope this doesn't get too awkward, but I've looked up to people like you guys for a very long time. And one of the things that you guys communicate, not just in word but in action, is that you pass on the praise, and you guys do it often.
Yeah.
And man, that just it's a pride. You know, it kills your pride because a lot of times you want to take credit for all the great things that people want to say about you. And so I learned early on in a breakout seminar that you were supposed to pass on praise and absorb the criticism, that kind of thing. But as a leader, it was tough because it's like parents come up to you like, "Hey, the youth ministry is doing great. Just wanted to let you know." And it was like, well, now let's go thank some small group leaders because they're the real ones responsible. So it was kind of like, you know, a lesson, but it was easier to do because I could, you know, look up to people who were doing it, and then yeah, it was helpful.
Strong.
I think it's a battle you fight. You fight forever. I mean, I think the older, more mature, I think the more spiritually mature you get, the more you get your arms around humility, and you go that it really isn't about you. It's about other people. And when we seek out the recognition, it's usually a sign of our own insecurity and our own brokenness, that I want to be recognized for that, or appreciated for that, or valued for that. But I think there is it's always a battle. You know, I was telling Josh that I walked into the refinery. I walked into the refinery this weekend, and there used to be a little plaque in the refinery that said something, "Thanks for the creative inspiration of Doug Fields," or something like that. And it was kind of this, like, okay, that's cool. Like, I like seeing that when I...
One little piece.
It's a little... I mean, you know, it's a 20,000 square foot building, but there was one little thing that was there. So we were shooting some video there. Plus, it's a beautiful picture of the refinery. It's shot at night. The whole thing. It's beautiful. And I walked in, and it wasn't there. And there's a little screw. There's a screw. You can tell where it had been hanging or something like that. And it was just one of those where I went, dang. But I told Josh about it, which I think that is that sign where you go, you know, it shouldn't be a big deal to me. But that was a pride.
Yeah.
You know, it was a pride deal. Like, okay, even though nobody walks in and goes, "Oh, I wonder who, you know, was the inspiration behind this thing."
Right.
You know,
right.
And it's funny because at like 2 days earlier, I was with Rick Warren, and he said, you know, every time I walk in the refinery, I just go, "Thank you, Jesus, for Doug Fields." Da 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 da. And I went, what a cool thing that is. But why is that not enough? You know, why is it?
Sure.
Right.
You know,
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
But all that to say, I think the battle is always there. I remember many years ago, Tommy Woodard from the Skit Guys said to me, as they were beginning to be more famous, he goes, how do you stay humble in the midst of being on stage and people wanting to talk to you and all that stuff? And I said, well, for me, I just know deeply inside how broken I am, and and I used a word that I won't repeat here, what a blank I am. And so because of that, you know, I'm well aware, you know, that, you know, and I'm also well aware spiritually of what humility does
For
too,
sure.
and well, God hates pride, and that's part of His spirit. But all that to say, you know, if you ever think you've reached the point of where, like, I have conquered pride and I am humble, well,
good luck.
You know, there you've just
Displayed
pride
right there. Whole new level right there.
I think our team's been blessed, kind of like you said, like, I feel like Doug, you and Kurt have always kind of instilled those principles in us of just, hey, we're human, we're broken, we aren't anything, we are like special as friends and that kind of thing, but we really aren't anything special. We're youth workers doing the best that we can to serve God and glorify Him. And I feel like that has been instilled. I mean, anytime we did anything as a team, we had that talk of like, just remember, just remember, this is not about us. This is not about who we are or what we have. This is about what God's doing, And so I just feel like over the years, that's always been something I've come back to time after time again. Anytime I'm doing anything, teaching or speaking or whatever, I always come back to, we're just a church. I'm just a youth pastor. I'm doing the best I can to serve God and love Him. And if God's going to use me today, so great. But I'm very appreciative for the way that we were raised in youth ministry. And I think that is a testimony to finding a mentor that you look up to who is instilling that in you and kind of preaching those messages of humility and breathing that into you. Because I think that's been a huge part in just us always being mindful of that, which I'm grateful for.
I'm just throw in one more thing. I think when you are given an opportunity, just break the stereotypes of the big time speaker guy. So if you're teaching a workshop, one of the things that I've always loved that you would say, I'll be the first one here and the last one to leave. And so give people the gift of great eye contact. Give people the gift of not being hurried to your next big important speaker guy thing. Don't lurk in the green room and network and hobnob with the big timers. You are normal, and when you think be a man of the people, because you're an idiot, and they just don't know it, So be accessible and walk slowly and give unexpected gift. People, when if you are big time, they're like, oh my goodness, I have to talk to whatever. Well, what if you said, let's go grab coffee, and you gave them 30 minutes? That's a huge gift. And it's also a gift to yourself because it just kicks humility in the face. So give them the unexpected by not being big time speaker guy.
What I appreciate about Mike writing this is he uses the words, I've been hesitant. And I like that. I like that whole idea of hesitancy. I like that even in recruiting volunteers. I don't want people. I want people who are kind of hesitant, like who are a little. I've got faith, but I've also got fear. And I like this about him for such opportunities because I know my heart. Great, that's great. But I also want to be a good steward of what God has given me. And that is, it's one of the reasons that I will, like on a speaking request, is I'll say, how many people do you have planned to be at that event? Because I also want to be a good steward of, when I step on a plane and move away from my family for a season, I want to know that I'm being a good steward of that time. Because the reality is, time is one of those things that we all have in common. Nobody has more than the next, but we have to be wise and discerning. So I appreciate the tone in which it's written. I appreciate that you asked it. Seth, what do you got?
I was just going to say, I'm still consider myself a little bit of an outsider, but some of my friends from back home in Indiana will still talk to me, and they'll say all the time, like, hey, I ran into Katie or Josh or Doug at this event, and they're just so real. Like, they're real. They're not, that thing, and it's just like something I get to see all the time, which is really cool and a great example to kind of be around. One of the things I was thinking, and this isn't, his particular thing, but so often you find people wanting to build their platform, which a lot of times you need pride to build that platform, and it's like, I think the opposite is true. Pride detracts people. Like, people sniff it out, they don't want to be a part of it, but humility, the opposite, really attracts. Like, that's one of the reasons I'm attracted to this gang out here, this crew. It's like, it's so attractive to be around people who are just, hands open, willing, and I just think it's a whole different model for building platform. It's obviously goes back to...
Well, and it's when people are in your life that can help you with that. So, I can remember early on me saying to Josh, Josh, when you blog or when you tweet, be careful that you don't use numbers.
Absolutely.
But you had me coming alongside you going, you know what, you don't need to tell numbers. And I don't think you were doing it to be prideful. You were just doing it because it just helped tell the story of fact. But like, I have a friend who I've just actually become friends with him recently, and he spoke somewhere recently, and he retweeted the compliments. And I thought, I need to figure out a time to come alongside, because he's trying, just what you said, Seth, he's trying to enhance and build his platform. And there's just a way to do that, I think. But he doesn't have anybody. He's an isolated guy.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have anybody that would come alongside of him and go,
Those are not good retweets.
Yeah.
Or even / thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah,
I just throw up a little bit in my mouth.
Some of our friends
I
that
know.
do them all the time.
I know, they're brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But talking
And
about a temptation, that's a common temptation. When you see that tweet and you're like, oh, I hope everybody else sees this tweet.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
But to have
Right, and they
somebody
don't, because
say-
it's pretty
Yeah.
private, really.
To
Yeah.
have somebody say, instead of tweeting those compliments, just tweet, I'm feeling affirmed right now. So great.
Right.
I mean, there's just ways to, and it is nice to have people to help you shape
Yeah.
that.
Well,
kind of
like
stuff.
you were talking beforehand about you had read Andy Stanley's book Deep and Wide, and you said it's a great book. Andy is so. I mean, every once in a while somebody will tweet about it, and he's strategic about it. Like he'll put, thank you so much. I'm honored that I can. But the reality is, he wrote a book that he wants people to know about,
Sure,
and if he's always
sure.
saying, "Read my book, Deep and Wide," read my book. So every once in a while, I get it to do that. But
Right.
if you watch him, I mean, there's a guy in current Christian culture who gets probably more affirmation than anybody around, but you very rarely see him do anything kind of that retweet,
yeah.
bring attention to myself type
Yeah.
deal. And every once in a while, it'll be tied to a book or to his church, but it's in a way where you go, okay, I can see his heart.
Yeah, I think it is honestly a little more Twitter focused answer here, but it's almost like about ratios. Like if you talk about yourself in every tweet, or if you're complimenting yourself, retweeting everybody else's praise of yours, and that's what you do, the ratio's off. I mean, I'm literally unfollowing that person.
Yeah.
So, and trying not to be that guy either.
Yeah.
I think just remember you're a tool. That's a good how to keep humble. You're a tool. We know it, because we are too. We're all tools. Just
And
be
you
cool.
said that in a nicer way than I told the skit guys. All right. You know who's a tool is Matt.
Yes, where is that pump?
That's why it was a great show. He wasn't here, and yes, I
miss you,
promise
Matt.
I have more fun. I miss him too. He's great. He's a soundbite.
He's great.
You're right. He's
I
the
just feel
star.
like it's out of control.
He is our
when he's
star.
here. Out of control.
Star. Oh, well.
Seth,
Just falling star.
good job.
That was fun, guys. Thanks for the affirming handshake. I'm going to retweet that later to my friends.
Okay, we gave away stuff from Youth Ministry 360. We thanked You Specialties. We gave away Matlock stuff.
We highlighted
We
SLC.
Leader Treks, Azusa Pacific.
You're wearing their shirt?
Oh, I always wear
Oh,
their shirt.
man.
I got about 11 of them.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty
But I'm
cool
kind
one.
of busting out.
Yeah,
I need to get an extra
torqued,
large.
man.
I don't know. Have we also done anything with Remedy Live?
Oh wow,
Yikes.
dude, that's a
Remedy
legacy.
Live? Why don't you?
Remy Live, if you text the keyword YMG to 313131, they will pick a winner out of every episode and give away Starbucks and a shirt. It's that easy.
Starbucks and a
Legit.
shirt. I'm doing
Legit.
it.
YMG.
I ought to do it right
Text
after
it.
the show. 3131.
Yeah, just see if you get that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't be really fair to our team.
No, yeah.
Anyway, love
It's
you
okay,
guys.
I'm
Thanks
boring.
for listening. And
Matt will be back.
send in your questions to youthministrygarage.com.
That
Matt,
show was
you
spot
awful
on.
about
Matt will be
Sure.
back. Hopefully not.
What's happening?
I
right
raised my
now?
chair.
Hey, keep saying, keep saying,
There it is. I'm back.
keep saying, sorry you got canned, Matt.
Yeah, please,
Please,
do.
those get
Please.
read. All right. Blessings.
See ya.
Bye.
Hey.